All well, going good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll wait for a few more minutes. Let's others also join so that we can begin it. Huh?
Okay.
So how is the weather in your place? Sambalpur, it started warm or it's still cold?
Yeah, it is beginning to get warm. Yeah.
So in the winter time it was really cold or it's normal?
It was initially it was not so much cold, but in January, little for little period there was some rain, and then it became cold for
Oh,
2 weeks or so. Mm.
good. So today actually we are going to discuss the theories of uh, valid sources of knowledge, or I would say, what are the valid sources through which we get the true knowledge or we'll understand the reality as it is. So we'll wait for a few more minutes. If others will join, then we can proceed about it. So
Okay.
then towards the end, I'll be entering into the features of Indian philosophy, like how the schools are divided into orthodox, heterodox, what are the essence they have communicated to the whole society, whole world. And then after that, we'll be discussing about a little about Vedas and Upanishads.
Okay.
What are the important things that we should learn from Vedas and Upanishads? Uh, how things are mentioned in Vedas and Upanishads. Hmm. Then we'll move towards Charvaka epistemology, Charvaka ethics, and all. Then we'll go to Nyaya philosophy, Vaisesika, and see how far we can proceed. This is how the plan is about, so that we'll move slowly, but our learning should take place uh,
Mm.
in such a manner that at the end people will carry out some information from the course. Huh?
Mm.
Swagatika, are you there? Welcome to the session. Uh, of course, yes, I could see Mamata Pramanik. Yeah. Mamta, can you switch on your video? I think last time I could not able to interact with you. I believe so.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you switch on your video because I need to see who are the students.
Good
Okay.
afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you able to tell about yourself, where you are from, which part of Odisha, uh, how did you
Yes,
take interest in philosophy, and what is the purpose of taking this course, and just familiarize with us so that will feel that you are part of this philosophy, program. So, tell me.
yes. I am in Odisha. Till now, I am a teacher.
କୋଉ ଜାଗାରେ?
ଏଇ ବାଙ୍ଗରିପୋଷି ମୟୂରଭଞ୍ଜ ଡିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିକ୍ଟର ବାଙ୍ଗରିପୋଷି ବ୍ଲକରେ।
ହଁ ହଁ, ଘର କୋଉଠି? ବାରିପଦାରେ?
ନା ଘର ବାଲେଶ୍ୱର ଜିଲ୍ଲାରେ,
କୋଉ ଜାଗାରେ?
ଜଳେଶ୍ୱର ବ୍ଲକ।
ହଁ ଜଳେଶ୍ୱର, ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ହଁ ବୁଝିଲି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ବୁଝିଲି, ଭଲ। ଆଉ ଫିଲୋସଫି କାହିଁକି ନେଲେ, କେମିତି କଣ ଏଇଟା ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରିବ ଆଗକୁ ଜବରେ?
ଫିଲୋସଫି ସାର୍, ମୋର ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନରେ ଫିଲୋସଫି ଥିଲା। ଆଉ ପିଜି କରିବାର ଏମ୍ ଥାଏ, ତ ଏଇନା ଜବ୍ ଭିତରେ ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସରେ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଫିଲୋସଫି ପିଜି କଲି।
ଭଲ ହେଲା। ଆଉ କୋଉ ସ୍କୁଲରେ ପଢଉଛନ୍ତି?
ଅପର ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ 6, 7, 8 କ୍ଲାସ୍ ପାଇଁ।
ହୁଁ, ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍ ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍। ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି, ତ ଆମେ ତାହେଲେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବା। ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଜଏନ୍ କରିବା କଥା ପରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଜଏନ୍ କରିପାରିବେ, ବିକଜ ଅଲରେଡି 5 minutes is over. Huh? So today we are going to discuss mostly the valid sources of knowledge. What it means, that what are the sources through which we can get the true knowledge about worldly affairs. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହିବା କି, let's say for example, uh, I was walking on the road, I see a snake. The first moment I found it is a snake, but then I got shocked. I am little afraid. But the next moment, when I closely observed, I found that it is not a snake, rather it is a rope. Possible? Or a rope is a snake? Possible. So therefore, many people say that in many occasions we are having erroneous cognition. You and me, we cognize an object, but we are not sure about it. Next moment it changed. Similarly, जो माने पूरी जाउचंती कि दीघा जाउचंती, see wherever you go to the sea beach, you might have seen some of these elements that glitters, but these are not silver, rather these are shell. So in many occasions we identify shell as a silver or silver as a shell because of the having similar features. Sometimes we get confused. Now, keeping that in mind, even another confusion. Suppose you are riding bicycle or two-wheeler or something, say four-wheeler, in the straight highway. You'll find that long distance, if you look at, you'll find like there are water or something like that. But these are not water; these are called mirage. Once you go close to that, you will find that, oh, that's an hallucination you had, because from the long distance you could see in the summertime, and therefore it looked like a mirage, isn't it? So there are many other occasions also. In many occasions also, you might be tapping your friend saying, hey, how are you? Then that person turn left or right and say that, look, I'm not your friend. Mistakenly you might have considered me as a friend, but I'm not your friend. Something like it happens. So keeping all this confusion in our mind, philosophers, mostly Indian philosophers, they say there are six sources of valid knowledge. Six sources of valid knowledge. That means any knowledge that we gain by adopting the six means or any of this means out of the six, we'll be able to uh, get the true knowledge about worldly affairs. One is perception. So whenever the philosophers they told about perception, it is confused by the scholars that perhaps they meant the visual sense organs contact, like eye contact. But that's not true. Whenever the philosophers they told about perception, it means all the sense organs. Even those who are born blind, if they can hear the sound and can able to identify from where the sound comes, that's also part of perception. So perception shall not be confused as only visual sense organs contact. Rather, we have five sense organs contact, and all these sense organs contact. Whenever they accumulate the information about worldly affairs and send to the brain, we say it's a perception. For example, you taste some food, you say, wow, that's nice. You taste some food, then you say, oh, that's not good. You hear a sound, you say that that's very harsh. You perceive some color, you appreciate it. And many times you touch something, you able to find out the hardness, softness, and so on and so forth. So therefore, the five sense organs through which we acquire the knowledge is termed as a valid knowledge. You may ask the questions. In the dream also, we have some knowledge. Sometimes you might have seen you will be chasing tiger or tiger will chase you or some awkward kind of fact that you might have seen. Sometimes you are say standing near it to a forest, the next moment you are flying in the aeroplane, so there is no coordination. So what philosophers and psychologists they argue, in that time, you, me, and all of us, we have only one sense organ that connect to the worldly objects. So whenever one sense organ that connects to an object, we do not get a proper, we do not get the proper information about that object, and hence it is difficult for human being to identify that object with a name. Mamta, can you mute? Yeah, very good. So we will not able to identify the object. I'll give an example. Suppose you are walking on a road of your choice, or you are going to a market. You might have come across many objects, but if your friend will ask you, did you know some objects were lying in some side when you are coming to the market? You will be recalling, you will be recalling, you will be asking your mind to go back, go back. But then you will be struggling saying that perhaps I might have seen, but I'm not able to recall it. That is called indeterminate perception, where you are not able to determine what happens. That time, one sense organs that connects with the object, and as a result the sense organs cannot able to collect all the possible features of that object, and hence will not able to recall it, will not be able to identify whether we have seen that object which our friend referring to or not. You might have experienced something like that. Yeah, then some people they'll say, oh, I'm trying to recall but it's not coming. It happens because of indeterminate perception. The perception was not determinate. But now, in contrast to that, whenever the human beings they consciously connect with an object through their sense organs, where more than two sense organs, or more than two sense organs, or more than two sense organs connect to an object, identify the features of it, and send to the brain for its analysis and synthesis. And what brain comes out with, that we call determinate cognition. That means in this type of cognition, we can able to identify an object with a name. For example, there is a mobile phone in front of you, or there is a glass of water in front of you. Here you have more than two sense organs. Connect to that object. Identify that object with all the possible features. And therefore, after 2 hours or after 2 days, you would be able to recall it correctly that at 4 o'clock when you are attending the philosophy classes, there was a mobile phone in front of you or there is a glass of water in front of you. Even you can able to recollect what is the size of glass, how much water it was there inside, if at all. And if this kind of things happens, we call it a determinate perception. So therefore, we have learned perception is a valid source of knowledge, but indeterminate perception is not a valid source of knowledge. Therefore, we submit that only determinate perception through which we get the knowledge or we come to know about the worldly objects, it's a true knowledge for us. Done? Any questions? Easy for all of you. What is called determinate perception? Very good. Now the next source of knowledge or next valid source of knowledge is known as inference. It's known as inference, or in Sanskrit we call it anuman. Anuman, like most of the times, if you are a good cook, you know how much salt you need to put, how much turmeric powder you need to put. There is no such measurement that this much oil need to be put or this much salt to be put, this much turmeric and nothing. That comes through experience, isn't it? That's called anuman. Now here, you should know the differences between anumana and between intuition and inference. There is a difference between intuition and inference. What is intuition? That if you will walk from this to that miles, kilometers, your diabetes level will go down. That's an intuition. You don't know. If you go to a particular sea beach, you'll be able to see so many big fishes. These are intuitions. Further, you'll say, if I'll able to drink curd before I go to the examination, I'll be able to score good grade. These are intuition. Why? Because there is no such premise, there is no such proposition available with you. You are just merely hallucinating. That's called intuitions. Like somebody said that if I'll go to Pondicherry, I'll be able to see these other things. But you may not be able to see that. That's an intuition. But unlike intuition, we have a concept called inference. So inference is a valid source of knowledge, because any truth that will acquire through inference would be treated as a pure truth. An example, you and me, we might have seen fire and smoke together in our kitchen, in the lamplight, in the candle, in other places also. You can add on to your experience. So we see fire and smoke together. But suppose somebody takes you to a hill station and tells you that, look, on the top of the hill there are smokes. So now the next moment immediately you say that, look, there must be fire on it. But the fire is not visible to all of you, neither to you nor to your friend. By seeing the smoke, you infer that there is a fire. Now question arises, how do you do that? The answer is, in many occasions, through your experience, you might have seen fire and smoke are together. And because of that, by seeing the smoke, you infer that there must be fire. A concrete example I have shared with you. Another example I can say, let's say, those who are doing everyday exercises, they are keeping their health well. Now, you might have seen X belongs to a particular gender, particular age. Y belongs to a particular gender, particular age. Z belongs to a different religious group, different having health conditions, so and so. And all of them are doing, say, some kind of exercises in the morning. So therefore, you come out saying that X is doing a physical exercise or jogging in the park or somewhere. It necessarily means he or she wants a good health. That's an inferential knowledge. Correct. Now inference is over. Any doubt? So inference is different than intuition. Yeah. Some people tell you that if you take prasad from this temple, then you are blessed. Whole life will be peaceful. You will be having a beautiful life. But prasad has no connection with your beautiful life. If you want to make your life beautiful, you have to put all the efforts on your own. Prasad is not going to help you in any way. Yes or no? That's an intuition. So inference is different from intuition in that sense. Shall I move on? Then the next one is called comparison, that we compare many times and we obtain the knowledge about worldly affairs. For example, I would say there is a bird, looks like a crow, but its name is Jaddo. Whenever you go to a particular forest, you will be able to see a bird, looks like a crow, but it is bigger than a crow. It has, say, some kind of stripes, some yellow stripes on the body, but everything becomes black. I would say that yellow stripes on the black feather. That's called Jaddo, for example. Now, what you do whenever you are encountering some kind of birds, you will recall my statement, and also you will recall your experience about a country crow, that how a crow is look like black in color, isn't it? So my words plus your experience about the crow, you put together, and all these things that you attribute to a particular bird which you are seeing for the first time. And if my explanation and your experience about the country crow are matching to that new bird that you are experiencing, you gain a new knowledge saying that that may be a jackdaw. Happens. Suppose those who have not seen, say squirrel, I would tell them that look, squirrels are just like mouse, but only difference is that there are stripes on their body parts. So then whenever they see a new animal having the similar feature like a country mouse, but there are stripes on the body, through that they can able to identify a new object and gain a new knowledge. Possible? So in that sense, there are many occasions you, me, and all of us we compare and gain a new knowledge. You want me to give a concrete example? You want to purchase a new car, new two-wheeler. Do you compare in this way or not? How much mileage? How many people can sit behind? What is the BHP? All these things that you compare, isn't it? So comparison gives you a new knowledge. Rather, there are many websites through which you can compare also. Which bike you can purchase, what is the cost of it, and whether that bike is taking care of your needs or not. Even for car, even those who are purchasing land, even those who are purchasing flats in city, all times you compare, isn't it? So comparison helps us to gain the new knowledge about worldly affairs. Then the next one is called verbal testimony. Verbal testimony means something that is written in the book, something is told to us. Because you and me, we are human beings. We can't possess all the possible knowledge about worldly affairs. It's difficult. Even in Sambalpur also, there are many places you might not be visiting as of now, even though you born and brought up there. Correct? Even in Jaleshwar, you must not be knowing all the family members in every family, isn't it? Because our knowledge is limited. It's impossible to know. So in that sense, I would say there are many other ways, like reading a text, we'll know about the past. We heard from someone else and know the truth. How many of you have visited Rama temple in Ayodhya? Is there anyone who visited Ram temple in Ayodhya? No? in UP, but you know from the electronic media, you know from the print media, yes or no? And you started believing that it's a true. Correct? So therefore, verbal testimony tells you that there are many occasions we heard from others and we examine the fact through various other means and find out that it is a true knowledge. Similarly, what is written in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and even Bhagavad Gita, even say Quran, or even say Bible and all these things, you'll find that there is some truth in it. If somebody has not written, how this text come into existence? So therefore, there are many occasions we listen from others and learn the truth about the world. All right. So what are the things that we discussed? Perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony. Correct? Then the next one is called postulation. 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 In many times, you will find that two facts are contradicting with each other from your experience. Then you will find that there must be something else you need to search for to resolve the contradiction. And that creativity statement that you are making, which is resolving the contradiction, is nothing but a postulation, is a new knowledge. An example I'll give you. Mr. X or Mrs. Y, whatever you want, gender neutral. Huh? Mr. X or Mrs. Y are getting bulker and bulker day by day, and the same time fasting in the whole day. Nobody has seen both of them that they are eating in the daytime. Correct? Are you with me? Are you with me? So take one person who is getting fat and fat, mota hoche, mota hai ke pura fulli, but from early morning to the late night fasting, nobody has seen. केही देखी नांती कि सेमाने खाउचंती बोली dinner सेमाने उपवास करूचंती. Is that okay? Now the two statements are contradicting. To resolve this contradiction, you'll say when everybody is sleeping in the night, these guys is eating like anything, and therefore they are eating junk food and perhaps getting bulker and bulker. Correct? And when nobody has seen them eating in the night, it is your all prediction. That's called postulation. You are forced to do postulation because to resolve the contradiction between the two facts. One is fasting in the daytime, and the second one is getting fat and fat. Correct? So in many occasions, you and me, we use our postulations to find out the truth about the world. Suppose your friends, one of your friends, for an example, this is nothing to do with your friend or my friend or somebody's friend. Suppose जनकर सांग ताको कहला ए तो विषय ने से सेया को सेया कहतला किछि चुगलेमी लोक अछंती बगुलेमी कथा कहंती मिते you know that this is a part of human culture. Then what you will say, oh is it? Then you have your other means to find out. कोथि पई मोर गोटिए सांग अन्य सांग विषय मो नारे मो पाखरे आसी कहले. If you want to search the truth, you are not going to believe that person. Correct, no? You can listen, but you are not believing. But then later you found out that again this person is mingling with your friends about whom he or she was telling negatively to you. So you started suspecting. Correct? Are you with me? Are you moving along with my thoughts?
Yes, yes.
Good. So then you will say that perhaps ये जो सांगटी मो पाखरे अन्य जन सांगरे चुगुली करिछि से सांग सहित मोर केमिति नपटु तार बंदोबस्त करिया पई कथा कहिछि कारण जदि ए कथा मते कहला पुनी तार सहित विषय कोन कारण अछि हो कि ना. So to contradict, to resolve the contradictions, you postulate that ये निजक निजे चालाक भाबुछि आ मो पाखरे आसी अन्य जन नारे चुगुलामी करिछि. This is the postulation you put it, and there are many occasions that helps you to find out the truth of the world. Done. Then the last one is called non-perception. Non-perception is not negation of perception. Rather, it is a unique valid source of knowledge. I'll tell you. Suppose in front of you there is no tiger. or there is no spotted deer, or there is no parrot, or there is no hen, or there is, say, uh, no flowers, bouquet or something like that. Okay. Now, suppose I'll say there is no tiger in this room. Still, it makes sense to you, isn't it? How is it possible? Because in your mind, you consider what could have been the situation if the tiger will be there in your room. Now, that situation, you are eliminating it, and hence you understand the truth and reality that there is absence of tiger in your room or in front of you. In case of perception, the object is there in front of you. You perceive it and find out its features and identify with a name. But in case of non-perception, it is a further attribution. The object is not there in front of you, but still you get the truth, that absence of that object in front of you. Therefore, it is a unique sources of knowledge. For example, somebody will say that, uh, say, if I go to Mahanadi River, I'll be able to get good fishes. I'll be able to catch good fishes. Now, what happens? I went to the Mahanadi River, but there is no fishes. So it's a negative way of understanding. Perhaps this is not the right time I came to catch the fish in Mahanadi River. Otherwise, I could have got the bigger one. In this way, there are many negations. Suppose you say, if we go to that hospital at 5 o'clock, no doctor, no nurse will be available. Correct? And therefore, you change your mind that what could be the situation you are going there and no, nobody is available, so that you need to go to another hospital. So it's a negation way of attributing a reality that helps you to understand what could have been the situation if something were present in that time. In other words, in case of non-perception, the object is not there in front of you, but still you are affirming that object and then you are negating that object, and that helps you to understand the negation of that object in front of you. Clear? No? Easy only. Clear? So these are the 6 pramanas. Pramana has been valid source of knowledge. Snigdha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't see you. Can you just switch on that video? Satan, are you there?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Satan, are you there? Can you switch on the video? Yeah. So there are 6 sources through which, if we acquire the valid knowledge, 6 sources through which we acquire the valid knowledge. Done. Easy only. Any questions? No? Okay. So therefore, now I will show you some PPT. We'll go through this philosophy as a whole. Huh? I'll tell you how these orthodox, heterodox systems are divided mostly. Is that okay for all of you? Just a second. So can you able to see PPT? Can you able to see PPT from your end?
Yes.
Snigdha, okay.
Yes,
Others? Mamta, can you see the PPT from your end?
yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. Okay. So now if you see Indian philosophy, as I told you about the Oriental philosophy, it's mostly around 5,500 BC back. People have written in different timing. There is no sequence of timing. So it is believed that mostly in that time only it was written. But we'll see there are some points which are relevant for all of us in today. So we are mostly talking about Hindu philosophy, Jain philosophy, and Buddhist philosophy. Some of you, those who come to say Rajasthan or visit Rajasthan, you will be knowing that still some Jain monks are there. Those who will come to say extremely north part of the India or even Andhra Pradesh, you will see many Buddhist monks were roaming. So therefore, in India, prominently you will find Hindu philosophy is getting preached, Jain philosophy is getting preached, and Buddhist philosophies are getting preached. So therefore, it is easy for us to understand when we relate to our experience. Nevertheless, you can see there is a distinction when you talk about Indian philosophy, there's a clear distinction that you find between two groups. One is heterodox, another is orthodox. You heard about these two groups earlier by chance? All of you have heard?
Yes.
Okay. So mostly people say Astika and Nastika. Astika means believing in the existence of God and Vedas. Nastika means those who do not believe in the existence of God, isn't it? Like suppose सोमवार दिन किए उपास करुची कि शनिवार दिन उपास करुची घर लोक कहबे कौन उपास करुछ कौन भगवान आसिक कौन किछ करिवे कि तुम जहाँ करियो तमे करियो ना तो एही हिसाब रे हम कहबा जे आस्तिक एंड नास्तिक सो heterodox and orthodox is just another words I'm substituting here. Now under heterodox you will have three schools. One is Charvaka, which is a materialistic school, then Buddhism and Jainism. Remember, Buddhism is a religion that doesn't believe in the existence of God. Suppose you are writing for civil service or any other examination or telling to some other persons, you say in Indian philosophy, one school called Buddhism. It is a religion by definition. Buddhism is a religion that doesn't believe in the existence of God. But all other religion, they believe in the existence of God. And therefore Buddhism is very unique. In the right side, if you see, you will find that there are six schools. Yoga. You might have heard about Patanjali Yoga, isn't it? You heard about Patanjali Yoga? Some kind of Patanjali oil, Patanjali, what is that? Dant Manjan, Dant Nati, etc. Blah blah. You heard about all this? Huh? This is we are discussing just for academic purpose. We are not commenting anything or endorsing anything. You might have heard that, isn't it? Patanjali Yoga. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Very good. So, Patanjali Yoga, whatever you heard, this is just 1% of the philosophy, not the whole philosophy as such. But if time permits, we will just enter into this yoga philosophy. Yeah. So now, yoga philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, Nyaya philosophy, Vaisheshika philosophy, Uttara Mimamsa and Purva Mimamsa. This yoga and Sankhya, they constitute a pair. Means there are many similarities, a few dissimilarities. So whenever one school discusses the theoretical aspects of some social problems, another school deals with that problem in a practical way, and therefore they constitute a pair. Therefore, in yoga philosophy, it was told to all of us, if you practice this kind of yoga, you will be able to lead a happy life. You will be able to control your bodily aggressions. You will be able to control your mind and sense organs. In Sankhya philosophy, it was explained in a theoretical manner, whereas in yoga philosophy, it was explained in a practical manner. In this way, Sankhya and yoga, they constitute a pair. Similarly, Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they constitute a pair. Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa also constitute a pair. Purva Mimamsa means it is pre-Vedantic tradition. Uttara Mimamsa means Vedantic traditions. Clear? So therefore, we have broadly six schools in Indian philosophy. One Charvaka, second one Jainism, third one Buddhism, fourth one is Yoga Sankhya put together. Then next one is Nyaya Vaisheshika, and the third one and the last one is called pre-Vedantic and Vedantic tradition. Therefore, six systems of the schools that you find in Indian philosophy. Shall I move on? Okay. Now, Whenever I talk about the common features, it's not that common to all the schools, but nevertheless, it is common between two schools, minimum two schools, more than two schools. And therefore, it is important for us to discuss what are the commonalities that we find in the Indian philosophical schools. So far, so good. Any questions? Mamta, it's easy going. Ambrish, okay. Shall I move on? Shall I explain that? Okay. Now, the first commonality is called spiritual orientation. You, me, and all of us, we are living in the integral world, and therefore we require many things for our survival. We need water to drink, we need bed to sleep, we need something to eat, we need something to wear, and we need something to move from one place to another place, and so many varieties. All of us, we need a mobile phone, and that a good mobile phone which have a good camera, message service, and etc etc. So therefore, in a materialistic society, so many things we need for our survival. We need a gas connection to cook this food, and etc etc, isn't it? Now question arises that all the animals also they do that. If we ourselves think that we live in a materialistic society, therefore we need so many things for our survival, even animals also they do that because they have also life. They also find out a place to stay. Like if you see some birds, they very delicately they shew their nest, and in the nest they just live in the whole night. Morning they come out from the nest, search for the food, and evening they go back nest and they take rest, isn't it? The way human beings we do, come in the morning to the office, do some work, then evening return and have television, some good food, and sleep. That's all. Now question arises that if we will be doing the way animals do it, then what is the difference between human beings and animals? Here, Indian philosophers they say we are different than animals merely because we have rationality. That rationality is a unique feature that necessarily defines that human beings are a unique species and they are different from other creatures, those of life. And what is the essential features of rationality? Is nothing what called spiritual orientation. You, me, and all of us, we are having an ability and capability to understand a consciousness which is inherently there with us, and therefore we feel guilty about something. We feel ashamed if we do some wrong action. We feel joy if we do some good action. We feel very happy when we help somebody. So these things are not experienced by animals or any other living creatures like birds, reptiles, amoeba, so on and so forth. In this sense, they say the spiritual orientation is some kind of a unique experience that human being can have it if they will wish to have those that other animals cannot that. So therefore, what is the purpose of our life? To understand the true nature of self. Because of that, we have our own identity, our unique identification on this earth. Then the next commonality is the closeness to life. What is closeness life? There are many ways you find there are many ways you find that so many objects are related to you, or you or me, we all of us related to so many objects. But at the same time, we know what are the objects are the basic need for us, and what are the objects are not really required for us. For example, somebody wants a BMW, a Jaguar car. Somebody wants so many trucks, so and so forth, isn't it? Now the person will say, I don't have so many resources, so much money to purchase it. Then that person will think negatively. What are the ways he or she can cheat the people? What are the ways he or she should adopt the unethical means to accumulate the money? And because of that, he or she will live with fear, live with danger, and therefore he or she is going to ruin his or her peace of life merely because the desire to possess so much wealth, the desire to possess a power, an unseen power, and so on and so forth. So, in that sense, they say anyone who has seen his or her life with the nature closely, he or she needs only the basic necessity for survival, not really so much wealth, ornaments, and so on and so forth. as much as wealth, ornament, and material position we need on this earth, those many times we suffer, those many times we regret, those many times we lose our peaceful life. And this is the message stated in the Bhagavad Gita, in Upanishads and Vedas, and so on and so forth. Even it is the same message that you will find written in Quran, written in Old Testament, New Testament, and so on and so forth. So therefore, as a human being, our basic function of rationality is to understand ourselves by removing the arrogance, by removing the false ego, by removing the attitude, by removing an cravingness for so many worldly pleasures. Shall I move on the next one? Yes. The next one is called spiritual dissatisfaction. Many people in the past, they tried to attend the try to understand the spirit, try to understand the notion of self. Because of that, we are considering ourselves as a conscious being. But they were not satisfied. They said that no, the logic through which we are trying to understand the nature of God, nature of self are not appropriate. We are not happy. So among them you will find Buddha. Buddha says that earlier, if you remember, even today also many people believe ए वर्ष धान हेलानी तो पूजा करिवा, आर वर्ष गछ गुड़िक निया लागगला से पूजा करिवा, कोरोना आसीगला मिछरे निम गछ को पूजा करिवा. You might have heard that, isn't it? So for them everything has something to do with God. Suppose ए वर्ष फ्लड हो गया, फ्लड आसीगला, ए वर्ष बन्या सहित बात्या भी हेगला, सब हमर वेजिटेबल्स नष्ट होइगला, चाष नष्ट होइगला, then we pray to the God. So when you pray to the God, again some sort of economic constraint you are going to face it, but the God is not going to come down and help you out from that, isn't it? So in this way they say that for every time praying to a God and not believing on our own karma is not a good logic to survive on this earth. So among them you have a Buddha, you have a Jaina, you have a Charvaka. They say we are not really spiritual in very rude and crude sense. That's called spiritual dissatisfaction. They believe on their karma. Whatever karma you do, there is a result. For every time we cannot give credit to the God, because God has given us a personality to perform our own action by taking our own decisions. Can you give me an experience that there are people, those who believe on God, for every time they suffer a lot? Amrish or any others from your experience? Is there any kind of experience you guys have gained? Some people are blind believer of certain gods or goddesses. Then they lost everything in their life merely because they fall in some kind of trap, and therefore they did not know what to do, what not to do, except praying to the God, 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 God. But at the end, they become so isolated, they lost their life, they lost their family, so on and so forth. Any experience you guys have?
Um, not very extreme experiences, but what we like. Usually, all students pray to God before exam, and that is one scenario. Or when something, uh, what they call in Hindi, mannat mangna. So if they want something good to happen, then they do some vrat or some pledge they take, so that some those good things should happen. And um, they may not do the necessary actions, but they will do the mannat.
Yes. Anyone wants to share his or her experience like Ambrish did it? Mamata, Snigdha, and others. Are you there, guys?
Yes, sir.
You would like to share some experience or whatever we are discussing?
Well, not much, sir. But yeah, I can say that if you're in immense pain, all you can do is think about God.
Well, I'll share one experience. Experience means from somewhere else. It's not my direct experience.
Yes.
One person, what happened? He believed that a particular God takes care of the whole human being's needs. So somebody told him that look, ଗାଁରେ ସବୁ କହୁଥିବେ କାଳି ସାଧନା ଇଏ ସାଧନା ଏସବୁ ଶୁଣିଛ କି ନାହିଁ ଏସବୁ ଜିନିଷ? That somebody goes to the graveyard to do some tapasya, etc. Blah blah. You heard about some kind of stories like this, yeah? So, gotiye literate but uneducated loko taku jane कहले कि if you donate your boy, so a particular god or goddesses wants to take the blood so that you will be able to have more boys. Like sorry, so it says that you are suffering because it seems there are some Rahu, Ketu, blah blah, etc., which I don't know. Even Sani Graha. If you sacrifice your son, you will have a good life. But anyway, you are going to give birth of many sons in the coming years. So that person, without understanding the value of life and his own son, he donated, and that son was killed when the son was very in the child age of having 4 or 5 years old. You imagine the child was going through certain pain and getting killed in front of the father, and everything happens because of blind beliefs and to attain the supernatural power. Some people also still believe that if someone has more than 4 or 5 daughter, he or she is aspiring for son, then sacrifice one daughter and surrender to a particular god or goddesses so that you will be blessed with a son. But those who are educated, they know that getting a son or daughter has nothing to do with God. It is everything to do with XY chromosome. That's a those who have studied even undergraduate biology, they will be able to clearly explain. Yes or no? I think Ambrish and Snigdha, you guys have studied science, isn't it? So now still people believe that God can intervene to give birth, to help the couples to give birth to a son which they are expecting, for example. And there are many other extreme examples. So in that sense, Buddhist people like Gautam Buddha was born as a Hindu, practiced all the rituals as a Hindu, died as a Hindu. But after Gautam Buddha's death, his 3 followers, Anand, Upali, and Mahakashyapa, they preached Buddhism. So in Buddhism, whatever we have studied, it's nothing new. It is just a revolution of certain blind beliefs people were practicing in Hinduism. That's all about. So Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism. Buddhism has not said anything new. Rather, Buddhism you'll find many people they refined, or I would say that rejected many of the blind beliefs those were practiced in Hindus. That's all about. So in this sense, Buddhism, Jainism, and say Charvakyans, they say, oh, there is no such thing called God. We should believe in our karma. In today times, all the scientists they believe in their karma. Yes or no? You take the issues to the laboratory experiment and you prove it. If you cannot prove it, you cannot claim it. Once you prove it, your findings are telling the truth about your research. If you cannot able to prove anything, you say that I'm still in the process. You cannot say that God is standing as a barrier for me, so therefore I'm not able to prove it. Can you say so? You can't say so, isn't it? So in this way, you will find certain section of Indian philosophical schools are mostly believing in dissatisfaction about the spirituality or the notion of God. The next one is that liberation is the ultimate end. What it means? Liberation is not means death. Liberation means live peacefully. That everybody is trying in today times. Understand? Liberation is not necessarily means a death. Liberation is not necessarily means that you need to understand God within you. No. Liberation means how to attain a happy life. What is a happy life? That has to be explained in a clear terms. As I told you. Suppose somebody said that for him or her, happy life means earn so much wealth. Think for a moment. Every human being has a capability to earn wealth. If somebody is running behind the wealth, that means he or she will be doing some unethical practices, and that would never lead him or her to live happily. Because every time there is a threat, CBI raid, ED raid, police raid, my neighbor will suspect so and so forth, so you will not be happy. In your purse itself, if you put more than the money that usually you put it, you yourself will keep it tightly because you know that all your attention is going to the purse. Yes or no? So therefore they say ultimate end is to derive the happiness. I'll give an example of happiness. I don't know whether you are a nature lover or not. Are you a nature lover or something? Both of you, Ambrish and Snigdha. Let's say if you are going to Kashmir or if you are going to Netherlands or say Holland, you'll see the tulip. Tulip flower, you might have heard that. Tulip plant, isn't it? It looks extremely beautiful. Like everything will forget. It's like so pleasing. Just sit or stand on one side of it. You see your vision, through your vision. You just put your eyes one after another bunch of these tulips having a different colors. So from the below, if you put your eyes and take it up, you will find everything is green in color. And just above the body, you will find that it is either yellow, either pink or red or something. Just ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଯେମିତି କହିବା ନା ମନ ମୁଗ୍ଧ କରିଦେବ that time you forget everything, all pain, pleasure, everything. It just you identify yourself as what you are, and that's called happiness in a given time. Another example, suppose you are living in a village, you are going near to a pond. You see that the water of the pond is in a tranquility positions. With little wind, it just heathers and dithers slowly. You can see some of the small fishes will coming near it to the close to the pond where you'll be putting your legs, or they'll be touching your legs if you're sitting on a cement bench or something. And you'll see so many butterflies are flying near it to the pond, so you'll get a very good experience about what is called happy life. That time you are not looking for any position of wealth, position of power, anything. You are just going along with the nature. Suppose in the rainy seasons, many occasions you will find people will be coming and watching the rain. How beautiful it is! It is natural. They'll be standing and getting wet in the rain. I'm not talking about this Bollywood rain dance or Hollywood rain dance. I'm saying you will experience the drop that is falling on you, and you get an experience about how nature is about, and that's called happiness. And this is how all of us we need to understand the liberation, that how to lead a happy life. Nowadays there are many coaching center, many babas, many matas, many even medical scientists, they'll tell you how to lead a happy life. If somebody is fully stressed, somebody is not able to control his or her emotions, then there are counseling for them. There are many mechanisms to counsel them. Somebody is really pain because of not having money or anything, then also there is a counseling session. Somebody due to family regions getting stressed, not having any hope to live on this earth, rather ready to die because they do not have any hope to live on this earth. There also you have a counselor. That means these category people, they do not experience a happy life in their whole life period. So therefore, the best statement I make my statements, I make my students that whatever you are, you should be happy. If what you have, if you are not happy with that, that's fine. But whatever you are in a given time, T1 time, you should be happy. An example, suppose you are listening to me, you should be happy now. I'm teaching to you, I'm happy now. Suppose you are looking at the screen, you should be happy now in a T1 time. P1 means person one. That's called happiness. Happiness should not be depend on the next moment what you are going to achieve or not. Then only one should understand and realize what is called happiness. So let's move on next. All right. So ignorance. You, me, and all of us. Those are even Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan, Bharat Ratna, whomever you take into as an example, you will find that that person has a limited knowledge, because no human being lives on this earth eternally. So within the lifespan, one can acquire certain knowledge, and within that knowledge also some knowledge may be erroneous, some knowledge may be valid knowledge. So therefore, no knowledge is perfect on this earth. But there are few people, they think themselves that they are the repository of knowledge. They know whatever they know, that is the truth. And anyone who believes in this, he or she reveals his or her own ignorance. କେହି ଜଣେ ଯଦି କହିବ ମୁଁ ଯାହା ଜାଣିଛି ପୁରା ଠିକ ଜାଣିଛି, ଆଠୁ ଆଉ କିଛି ନାହିଁ ଜାଣିବା ପାଇଁ, it simply means that you can avoid that person merely because that person establishes that he or she is an ignorant by core. In that sense, Indian philosophers, they say all the knowledgeable person must have a desire, must have an anxiety to know the truth of the world, to understand others, to understand others' emotions, to understand others' feelings, to understand others' empathy, so on and so forth. Then only there is a social bonding that should take place to live on this earth. So ignorance is the root cause of suffering. I'll give an example. This is just for example. I do not know whether you can relate directly or not. Somebody joined as an IPS. Okay, somebody joined as and IS. They are mostly kind of MA students or MBA students or kind of MTech students or maybe BTech students, something like that, because the qualification doesn't require for them to wait and apply. Now, once they get into power, some of them they misuse it because they think that they possess the whole power. But when people will write a complaint against them to their seniors, then they'll understand they have their also limitations. So no power is an eternal power. So by snatching some power, if somebody develop an arrogance, that's nothing but an ignorance. So therefore, you will find those who are living with arrogance, with ego world, once they will once they will saturate their young age or old age, something like that, towards the end they suffer a lot. Nobody bothers. An administrative officer, once he or she retires, if he or she did not have a good relation with the juniors, might have worked with ego and arrogance. You see, after retirement, nobody will come forward to ask for a cup of coffee or glass of water. Did you hear this or not? Do you know about this? Yeah. So therefore, whenever you have a power, you should be humble, you should be submissive, you should be polite. Then only you can conquer others' heart. You can win others' trust. And this is the message that we received from Indian philosophy. Is that okay? Shall I move on? It's all easy, perfect. Now, can you give an example that somebody was having so much ego, arrogance, misuse and abuse the power, but at the end he or she suffered a lot, regret and repent? Can you give an example, something like that? Anybody for that matter?
Like Ravan in mythology.
Yes. Hey, just a second. I'll chat. Any other examples? Snigdha, you are not participating. What happened? Listening means you will not able to learn, because if you say if you listen, you forget. If you do
Sir,
it,
current political situation.
tell that open. This is an academic discussions. You are not
Before
making.
a different party was there, Congress, and the situation
No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So therefore, in academic discussion, one should not hesitate to speak, because here your mind should open up. Because here the whole purpose is not to accuse somebody or appreciate somebody. It's
Yes,
all
sir.
about discussions. It's all about learning from each other. So therefore, in my class, everybody should come forward to give their opinions, and this is how the students like it. It may be correct, it may be incorrect, but you should ask your mind and speak from your mind. Correct? No, Ambarish. Otherwise, it will be conservative learning, like earlier days. Somebody will be speaking like blah 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 blah. Students will be receiving, and that's not good. And that too, when it is open and distance learning, it should be both way interaction. Correct? I'm not seeing others, Mamta and others. Some examples required. Otherwise, I will be tired only speaking 2 hours consecutively, 120 minutes. Abba. Okay, the next one will be going to practice of yoga for mukhya. Whenever people tells you that, look, morning you wake up, do some exercise, go to the environment and get some good breath and so on and so forth, you will feel that it's good, isn't it? But initially you say, oh no, morning waking up is really painful. It is nothing like a kalapani for me. It's like living in Andaman Nicobar kalapani. Who can wake up in the morning? If it is after 8 o'clock, that's fine, isn't it? So that you relax, you wake up and have tea and coffee. But now, yoga philosophers they say that morning time before the sunshine appears, and once that dark pitch dark of night faded away, that is a good time you will able to possess the good environment, the oxygen and other thing, so that your body will get energized and keep the energy for the whole day to do the work, because the whole night the body was taking rest. Both sense organs and body part were not in a functioning mode. But once we wake up in the morning, if we channelize our body, it will able to accumulate on energy, both outside energy and inside energy. Therefore, yoga is must. Now, most of the people they think yoga means asana, like Moirasana, Bakrasana, Chakrasana, Sirsasana, Padma Namaskara, blah blah, etc., isn't it? But that is only one aspect of yoga. Yoga is not equated with the postures. So Padmasana, Sirsasana, Bakrasana, Vajrasana, all these things. How many of you know about all these asana? You guys know? Mamta, you know about these asanas? ଜାଣିଛ କି ନାହିଁ ସ୍କୁଲରେ ହଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ ଡ୍ରିଲ୍ ଫ୍ରିଲ୍ ହଉଛି ହଁ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ସବୁ ସବୁ କୁହାହଉଛି ପଦ୍ମାସନ କର ଶୀର୍ଷାସନ କର ଏଇ ସବୁ ନୁହେଁ କି ଚକ୍ରାସନ କର ମୟୂରାସନ ବକ୍ରାସନ ଏଟସେଟ୍ରା ଓକେ this is just one aspect of yoga philosophy but yoga philosophy that tells that get if you want to achieve certain kind of objective while performing yoga you have to do the first stage then second stage the first stage of yoga is called yama niyama pranayama pratyahara dhyana dharana etc. Yama means what is yama? It's not something to eat that is tasty. Yama means what? Say anybody? Okay, we'll discuss that. Niyama means some practices niyama, isn't it? In Udiya also aman सबको नियम हो कि नहीं ए नियम टा कहीं पालन कर लूनी कि सही नियम टा से पालन कर हो कि नहीं so niyama necessarily means cleanliness inner cleanliness outside cleanliness ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ମନ୍ଦିରକୁ ଯାଉଛେ ନୂଆ କପଡ଼ା ନ ପିନ୍ଧିଲେ କି ନାହିଁ କିନ୍ତୁ ପୁରୁଣା କପଡ଼ାଟା ଧୁଆ ହେଇଥିବ ସଫା ହେଇଥିବ ସେଥିରେ କଳା ଦାଗ ଲାଗିନଥିବ ଡିଜେଲ ମୋବିଲ ଲାଗିନଥିବ ଏଠି ସେଠି ଲାଗିନଥିବ ଯଦି ସେଇଭଳିଆ ଡ୍ରେସଟା ପିନ୍ଧିକି ଆମେ ମନ୍ଦିର ଭିତରକୁ ଯିବୁ ଆମକୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗେନି ହଁ କି ନା the reason behind that neat and clean that helps your mind and body to come to a point so that they can think about the world that would help you to gain the knowledge about the world similarly pranayama ଶୁଣିଛ କି ନାହିଁ breathing system हाँ बेले बेले जे नर्वस हो ताको कहते अच्छा 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 पानी टा पिए निश्वास प्रश्वास ठीक रहे ये डरिवार किसी ना हाँ कि ना it simply means that in our breathing if you get stopped then will not be able to convey what you think there won't be coordination between the brain and the vocal cord तो सही पाई आमे को योगा प्रैक्टिस करबा यम नियम प्राणायाम प्रत्याहार आसन when it comes to asana then these are the postures that we need to do jar back pain achi hath pain achi neck pain achi because of asana postures he or she can heal naturally without any tablet without any medicine injection yes or no हाँ कि ना तो सही आज का तारीख में बहुत योगा टीचर अच्छा पैसा दियो सप्ताह 3 थर योग शिखेबो या कि नहीं लोक पैसा देकी योग शिखिया जाउछंती किंतु घरे करिया को नाराज घरे मन लागुनी कहे ना एकुटिया मन लागुनी समस्त करथि हमें करी हो कि ना so if you go to somewhere this Uttarakhand and all this place you will find there are peoples they do yoga evening once and morning once and they become so fit because body will develop certain immunity within yourself to just to throw out all this germs that is coming to our body it will protect body from the germs and other things all right shall I move on to the next ko asana tam man sab karucha snigdha is there any asana you are doing physically not mentally
no physically I was doing but currently not doing
okay mamta kichi houchi ki asana nahi houni how bhala la anyone else is doing some asana yoga who is volunteer no okay now next point is that psychological basis psychology plays very vital role ame kemti janiba jane bhalo loko ki kharap loko li merely because we will closely observe sei lokoti bibhinna context re kon काम करूछ तार बिहेवियर टा केमति रहउछ से रागी लोको कि भलो लोको कि भद्र लोको नुहे all these things we know because we need to see in various contexts how a person is behaving correct so therefore understanding others mind is very important now question arises that if I do not understand my mind how can I understand others mind यदि मु मो विषय जाने नहीं मु घर लोक विषय किन जाने पुनी ताका विषय कहले से टीडी में मते उल्टी पुल्टी कहले हां कि ना तेणु सबुठ बड़ कथा हला प्रथम मो विषय मु जानिबी तापर जेतिकी ताका विषय जानि पारुची सेही विषय मु ताको बुझेबा को कहबी if he or she is doing something wrong करेक्ट नो नॉलेज सी तुम कह बेकार ज्ञान दियनु शुणी कि नहीं वाक्य तो बहुत हो गला ज्ञान अधिक ज्ञान हजम होनु तुम पाखे रख ए वाक्य शुणी कि नहीं दिस इज नॉर्मल बिहेवियर पीपल से दैट स्निग्धा इज इट ओके
Yes, sir.
yes so therefore Indian philosophers they say psychology is very important for a person suppose somebody is very angry how to control that emotion somebody laughs so loudly it's very indecent so how to control that so this can be controlled this can be understood only when we understand the nature of consciousness that we have in a given time you see that sometimes there is a say there is a meeting everybody will be sitting and talking one person just wake up and shout loudly then everybody will look at that person what happened are you okay medically fit or some problem you see some character that time. So for no reason, somebody will stand up and kick the chair and go out from this. For no reason. You'll say, what happened? This is a misbehavior, isn't it? Then you judge. If the person misbehaves in this way, certainly he or she is not a good person. So therefore, our mind is everything. Once our mind is lost, everything is lost. A person has a mind means that helps him or her to recognize so many things on this earth. The time when mind is lost, everything is lost from us. Even though we try to connect with many things, we will not be able to identify those with a name. We will not be able to assess those. We will not be able to evaluate those, and we will not be able to know anything about these things. So therefore, to control our mind is one among the other important factor when we search for a happy life on this earth. In this context, yoga philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, Vedantic philosophy, and other schools, they said there are four states of consciousness. Four states of consciousness one is to realize. One is called Jagrata, like right now you are awake state, you are alert. If somebody is just going to pinch you, you said who is that person, where you got the pain. So therefore you are in alert, your sense organs are alert. Swapna means when you are in dream state. Like many times you see black and white dreams, sometimes colorful dreams, sometimes your hopes, aspirations are coming in dreams, so on and so forth. That's a dream state. That is also a conscious state. Next one is susupti. Susupti means suppose you are a football player, volleyball player, badminton player, or you have done the homework, everything neat and clean before Deepavali. दीपावली पूर्व सब घर सफासुतरा हुए कि नहीं धोआ धोई सफासुतरा मनीष थकीजी पूरा नुहे कि कहबे कि मत खटौजे पूरा घरे काम कला भाया हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल समथिंग लाइक दैट बिकॉज दे गेट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हाँ कि नहीं तो तापर जो राति शोइब दैट्स वेरी डग टायर्ड बिकॉज यू आर सो टायर्ड राति किए कंसा फिंगीदेला कि कोई बेलून फुटेला यू डू नॉट नो एनीथिंग morning you woke up and you tell to your friends or family members oh yesterday night I had a very sleep and that's a state called susupti a sleep where there is no disturbance doctors should prescribe you that those who sleep in that state they accumulate energy for the next day to channelize those who are not able to have good sleep in the night like every 10 minutes they wake up that means the whole energy they cannot able to accumulate and channelize for the use of various actions ସତ ନା ମିଛ ରାତିରେ 6 ଥର ଉଠିଲା ପରେ ସକାଳୁ ଉଠିବାକୁ ଇଚ୍ଛା ହବ କି ସକାଳୁ କିଛି କାମ କରିପାରିବ ରୋଷେଇ କଲେ ବି ଚିଡ଼ଚିଡ଼ା ହବ କେହି ଜଣେ ବାହାରକୁ ଡାକିଲେ ବି ଚିଡ଼ଚିଡ଼ା ହବ କ୍ଷୀର ବାଲା ଯଦି ଆସିକି ଅଧଘଣ୍ଟେ ପରେ ଦେଲେ ବି ଚିଡ଼ଚିଡ଼ା ହବ 10 ମିନିଟ୍ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଦେଲେ ବି ଚିଡ଼ଚିଡ଼ା ହବ ହଁ କି ନା ରାତିରେ ତ ଶୋଇନ ସେଇଟା ତାପରେ କାହା ଉପରେ ଯିବ ନା ଗୋଟେ that is called susupti state all the why I am saying these examples because these experiences that you are gaining nowadays it was already told in classical text in yoga philosophy sankhya philosophy so on and so so therefore philosophy is directly relevant for the present society okay na the next state is called turiya transcendental consciousness that means in a given time you will be realizing what you are you will try to realize where is that consciousness coming out from your body like ଆଜିକା ତାରିଖରେ ଯଦି ସମସ୍ତେ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ଦେବେ ଆଗରୁ ସବୁ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ଗାଉଥିଲେ ସବୁ ମନେ ଅଛି କି ନାହିଁ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ସବୁ ଗାଉଥିଲେ କ'ଣ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ସବୁ କହିଲେ ଦେଖି what is that ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା
आहे दयामय
ହଁ ହଁ ସେଇ correct. I had them Viswabihari, then other also भजन जनाना ये सब नुहे कि ता माने आहे दयामय जी माने जो माने सार अछंती कि मैडम अछंती से माने कहिबे फर्स्ट स्टांजा देखो आहे दयामय विश्व बिहारी दयामय means somebody who is very kind enough we cannot reach to that kindness Vishwa Bihari that means the whole world who created this is how if you explain to a small child he or she will feel very good about singing the song but right now in most of the times they chant the lyrics without knowing what is the meaning of it yes or no
Mm.
yes so therefore it is your duty as a young faculty or a teacher should tell the students what they are doing what is the meaning of it I have dayamaya vishwabihari ତାପରେ ଘେନ ଦୟାବୟ ମୋର ଗୁହାରି ଏମିତି ତ ଠିକ ଅଛି କି ନାହିଁ so that means whatever I am praying you must be kind enough to help me to guide me and understand me and direct me so that I should not do any unethical action it is through your guidance through your life I will be taking my life forward something like that yes so this is how a teacher has to explain the students. So students need not to mug up that line. Students need to recollect the experiences and sing the lyrics with proper feeling. Correct? No? And that's called Turiya. A Turiya is a state. That's called a transcendental consciousness. A consciousness you realize on your own. And that's very unique. କିଛି ଲୋକ ଦେଖିବେ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାବେଳେ ଆରତି ଯାଆନ୍ତି ମନ୍ଦିରକୁ they feel crying the tears will come out from the eyes because they are so devotional that time they so merge themselves before the gods they surrender themselves before the god के experience एमती करछो कि नहीं when you are so much devotional your tears will come out okay na that means you are surrendering yourself to the god and that's called turiya the whole body will be so light you will feel like you are nothing you are just one fraction contribution of the brahman and the life is not going to live eternally after some time we will be getting aged and death is inevitable so that's called turiya a transcendental consciousness whether you study science commerce arts management everything you will find this the stage everybody will experience and therefore philosophy is merged with all the discipline that you see on this earth no other discipline can merge with other discipline so philosophy is the only discipline that tells the personal and private experiences about the worldly affairs for everybody shall I move on next you would like to share what kind of transcendental conscious experience you get it you want to share something तुलसी पूजा के जन करछु तम दी जन भीतर स्निग्धा ममता and anyone else तुलसी पूजा के जन करछु what is the reason
I
to
do
do
it. I do it.
all both of you are doing tulsi puja
Yes.
very good so what is the reason for tulsi puja
ଘରର ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ମଙ୍ଗଳ ପାଇଁ କି ତୁଳସୀ ପୂଜା କରାଯାଏ
that is good any puja that you do that is for well-being of the whole family but what is the specific for tulsi puja why it should be evening why can't it be daytime or lunchtime or around 10 o'clock whenever you are free or night 8 o'clock something like that
I do it both the times, in morning and in evening.
evening why you will do it morning what is the purpose for it like after bathing only you'll be doing that isn't it morning isn't it
Yes.
what are the reasons
Yes.
behind that did you ask the question yourself that ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ମୁଁ କାଇଁ କରିବି ମୁଁ ଦି ପରେ ସବୁ ଖାଇ ସାରିଲା ପରେ କଂସା ବାସନ ମାଜିବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ କରିଦେଇକି ତାପରେ କଂସା ବାସନ ମାଜିବି ଅସୁବିଧା କ'ଣ ହେଲା ପଚାରିଛ କି this is the question you would ask suppose night ରେ ମତେ ନିଦ ହେଲାନି ମୁଁ 11:30 ବେଳକୁ ଉଠିକି ଟିକେ ତୁଳସୀ ପୂଜା କରିକି ଶୋଇବି is it okay no nobody will accept it isn't it then what is the reason that this is the time duration you have to do that ଧର ମାର୍କେଟ ଯାଇଥିବ elderly people କହିବେ ଆରେ ଘରକୁ ଚାଲ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ଗଡ଼ି ଗଲାଣି this is very bad isn't it what is the purpose did you ask yourself because you are educated that's what I raised the question you are educated therefore I raised the question otherwise I would have skipped it here itself what are the reasons okay you think about it you think
Okay.
carefully about it try to find out that what are the reasons for which you as a say gharar bow ki gharar jio ki need to do that if at all or if you have a reason to say that why only female why can't we male you can also argue that all right so now this is your task to find out without knowing the truth of anything if you are practicing it that's merely a blind belief. You agree that? Don't say professor is accusing us. No, no, I don't have an intention. I'm just helping you to provoke your thought so that you will come out with a good explanation about it. Yes or no? Hmm? So similarly, you should know what you are doing. Suppose you are listening me now. So you should know why you are listening. Is it necessary or is it time pass or something? Suppose I'm teaching you. I should know what is the purpose for which I'm teaching you. Correct? No? Mamta, Snigdha.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good. So this is a question for all of you that why you do two times Tulsi Puja and what are the significance behind that? How many of you know about Gaudiya Dharma? Gaudiya Dharma, Siva Dharma?
Uh, I've
Oh,
heard it.
You heard it?
Yes, sir.
Mamata Remunare Gaudiya Mathachi, you know about it?
ଯାଇନି।
No? Jaina, okay. Then who else know about Gaudiya Dharma? Anybody?
is it
Krishna
related with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
related with but not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Uh,
Okay. I
closely Chaitanya but not. How many of you know about Krishna consciousness? That ISKCON temple?
ISKCON, me know.
ISKCON, all of you know, right? So now I have given enough hint. So the task for you to find out why we need to do puja, Tulsi puja, two times in a day and not any other times in a given time. And what are the reasons behind that? Okay. Shall I move on next?
Yeah.
Amrish, in I think in even in Sambalpur, Raurkela also people do Tulsi puja. Correct, no?
Yeah,
Everywhere, almost
I haven't
everywhere.
lived here much, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odisha Bharare Janani, but those who believe in a traditions and kind of some kind of piousness and consciousness spirits, they'll say Sandhya Puja hele, Ghara Bohu kale, etc. etc. I don't know. I'm just asking because from 6th standard onwards, I'm living in different states, different part of the globe. I'm not in my place. Mostly, I'm from Remuna, Baleshwar. So Mamta may be able to identify where I'm living because she is from Jaleshwar. Just hardly maybe 20 minutes from my place to Mamta place by drive. Anyway, you know Chandipur Missile Testing Center in Baleshwar. You heard about
Yes.
Chandipur? That's very
Yes.
close to my place. And there is a temple called Gopinath Mandir. It's a very famous temple.
କ୍ଷୀରଚୋରା ଗୋପୀନାଥ,
Yes,
କ୍ଷୀରଚୋରା
Tiruchira
ଗୋପୀନାଥ।
Gopinath. Yes, I'm very close to that. Just walkable distance. Every morning I can go for a walk, and evening I can go for a walk and come back. That's close back. Okay. Now, besides that, we are going to discuss the next point is called synthesis of religion and philosophy. So, whenever earlier years people were talking about philosophy, most of the audience they would understood that philosophy means something to do with religion, theology, so on and so forth. In today's time, religion is one branch of philosophy. Mostly those who are moving towards Banaras Hindu University and so on and so forth, you will find that so many Indian philosophy scholars are there. They'll teach you in Sanskrit, they'll teach you in Pali language. If you are interested in Buddhism, they'll teach you even in English, translation version of Sanskrit, and all about Indian philosophy. So mostly they work on religion, philosophy, so on and so forth. But today time, if we talk about philosophy, it is philosophy of mathematics, philosophy of science, philosophy of electronics, philosophy of technology, philosophy of engineering, ethics, whatnot. So philosophy of cognitive science. So philosophers now working on what happens to our frontal cortex, and therefore I can able to hear a particular sound which is prototype in nature, and that's get decoded in my brain process, and later it just comes out as an output, the way a computer process. So therefore, the whole purpose, whether you take philosophy of science, philosophy of mind, philosophy of language, philosophy of religion, or so on and so forth, the whole purpose of philosophy and religion are having two objectives. The purpose will be fulfilled only when we'll understand the benefit of transformation of a human being lives from materialistic life to spiritual life. The whole purpose of philosophy and religion is to help the person to transform himself or herself from materialistic life to the spiritual life. That's a beautiful concept. No other discipline will help you in that way. The next one, emancipation from the worldly miseries. What it means, how to lead a happy life not a prosperous, wealthy, politically affiliated life. How to live a happy life. You might have known that there are many young guys. They have earned so much dollar and pound. They left their earnings. They join in some religious places because they believe so long as they live on this earth, they will serve to the mankind. How many of you have gone to Punjab, Amritsar? Is there anybody who has gone to Punjab, Amritsar?
Amritsar, no.
Amritsar, if you go, you will see the devotions. Whatever slipper you have, they'll keep it separately. They'll give you free food. They'll wash your utensils and everything. And it's not like ordinary person. They'll be rich person, affluent person. They have a service motive. They want to serve the humanity. They want to serve the people. This is how the religion is talking about. A happy life is just to serve something without further expectations. Nowadays, even people plant a tree with having an expectation that the plant will give some fruits and flowers. But there are other category of people. They lead a happy life when they serve to the society, they serve to the animals, they serve to the I would say the plants without expecting anything from them. You might have heard that some dog lovers they carry certain foods and put it some designated places for dogs to eat because they cannot see that dogs are suffering in the corona time. Did you see that? There are many individuals. They also take some fruits for the monkeys and other things because monkeys cannot purchase things the way we purchase. Monkeys cannot earn money for the way we earn it. So therefore, serving the animals, so and so forth. So all of you left. Once you come back, then I'll start the next point. Ambrish left. Snigdha left. Are you there? Hello. Okay, you're back. So now, next point is intellectualism. Intellectualism that tells that what are the ways you should develop a logic to ask a good question so that we'll seek for the right answer. So therefore, those who know the techniques of asking the good questions, that means they know what kind of answer they're expecting. So giving a right answer to the right question is not very promising. Rather, asking the right questions to seek for the right answer is itself a challenge. In that way, you'll find all the schools they have their own ideas and arguments while challenging the social problems and philosophical problems around the world. The next one is synthetic approach. While disagreeing with others, they do not abuse and accuse. They politely say what is their point and on what perspective they disagree with others. But that is the beauty of Indian culture. Like in India, we live with many people, those belong to different religion, different caste, different gender, different economic conditions, geographical conditions, so on and so forth. But still, we all are living in one area, and that's a beauty. So, if suppose your neighbor is a Punjabi, then neighbor's neighbor is an Andhrites, then neighbor to neighbor is a Tamilians, then neighbor next is Madhya Pradesh person or Indore person. All of them are living together, celebrating everyone's festival together. That's the beauty of life, and that we have learned from Indian philosophy. In short, how to tolerate other people when they do not practice what we practice, when they eat something different, when they practice different rituals, sacrifice, so and so, we need to tolerate them. Why? Because at the end, we are the human being. We having one religion called humanism is one religion. Others religion we are just segregating because the methods we are adopting to reach to the goal or to attain the spirituality is altogether different. But nevertheless, we all are one and the same. The next one is called dynamism. Every system is dynamic because they have their own way of contributing for the societal growth and progress. Take it Vedanta, they would say that Ek Brahman Dityo Nasti. Take yoga philosophy, they would say, look, all the mental maladies, physical problems will be eradicated if you practice yoga. And yoga doesn't necessarily mean asana alone. Yoga means starting with yama, niyama, pranayama, pratyahara, etc. etc. All right. Similarly, faith in the past. Indian philosophy tells us that those who do not believe in the history, they remain in an ignorant state. Many people believe history means past. We should not recall it. And these guys, they suffer in their whole life because they have not learned anything from the past. So that a wise man or an educated person is one who learns from the past. He or she should not ignore the past, learns from the past, do certain action in the present that will take care of the future. Give me an example where you found a person who doesn't believe in the past and therefore he or she does randomly all the actions in the present and therefore the future is blind or the future is dark for him or her. This is one example you have to give. Another example, a person who believed that history is important for his or her life. Learn from this good past and also decides not to repeat the bad past, and therefore he takes care of the present where the future is bright for him or her. Give some examples. So who will start?
Uh,
You can start.
can you little bit one more time clarify for me the
Okay, I
question?
would say past, present, and future. There are many individuals, they don't believe in the past. They say that we should not consider anything from the past, we should ignore the past. So therefore they don't learn anything from the past, they work in the present based on their mere intelligence, and therefore whatever they do, the consequence may not be good. They end up with doing many wrong actions, they end up with getting suffering and pain. This is one part. Another part, there are individuals, they look at the back, they look at the history, they look at their past. Whatever mistake they have done it, they decided not to repeat it. Whatever good action they have done it, they borrowed from the past. And in the present, they take care of their action with their best skill and intelligence. And therefore, their future is bright. They do not suffer because they have taken information from the past and doing present action with consciously and intentional. Yeah, examples.
I think many countries are there who have repeatedly made bad foreign policy decisions and they haven't learned from their past.
That's a good
Uh,
example. Yes. The other example in contrast to this.
where they have learned from the past. So it's the same example where many countries have learned about their, but improving their foreign policies. That could be one, and other could be like taking like if we have done something, not taken care of our lifestyle and health, and some disease happened, or we saw others getting affected by bad lifestyle, and we learned that we should take care of our lifestyle so that we don't end up in trouble. So that is one example where we learn from the past.
That's very good. Excellent. Like those who are into some kind of intoxication,
Yeah.
then you know that the past is bad and they don't remember anything about past. That again the same thing they do in the present and consequence is very, very sad and dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Now over to Snigdha. You have to give an example so that you will start thinking about it. You can't be passive from your end. Yes.
Well, it's about flus and plagues that people learn from it.
How is it related to my explanation?
Mm, because in past years, certain plagues have eradicated the entire human race almost. So we have taken major precautions in further years to prevent it.
Okay, good. All right, another example contrasting to that.
But sir, it's all about learning, right? If you don't learn from the past, it's not going to work.
Yes. Suppose somebody has learned from the past and therefore doing action consciously in the present, hence for the future is taken care of. Can you give an example like that?
So can you repeat it?
Somebody has learned something from the past and therefore his or her present action is very sharp, is very intended one. With conscious action, he or she is getting the good reward in the future. A simple example I can give you, an engineer who has designed the bridge could not able to design properly. One slab collapsed. The next time when he or she is going
That's
to
it.
give a design, you will find that the slabs are not getting collapsed. Rather, the bridge will be constructed on time because he or she has learned the failures from the past. Correct? It's a very direct contemporary examples. Another example is Ambrish given. Somebody is used to eat some kind of say cooked food, or I would say that what is that called? Junk food, and enjoy it because of different taste and flavor. Down the line, 10 years, he or she started developing diabetes, BP, this, that, all these problems. And if still he or she has not learned, still continues that, then the consequence is extremely bad. And that is inevitable, isn't it? And this is how we have learned from the past. Shall I move on next?
Yes, sir.
Okay, faith in karma. So today we are going to learn something new. As of now, we have learned that many things it is not in our hand, and every time whether we are success or we are failure, we give credit to the Almighty, isn't it? So now, Indian philosophers, some of the scholars they say, look, God has created us because we didn't have a will to decide in which family we'll born, who would be our parents. That is not our choice. But whatever action we do, that is in our choice. If we do the good action, then the result will be good. So therefore, we need to believe in the karmic influx. You do good karma, good result. If you do bad karma, you mean anybody for that matter. Second person plural. If he or she does bad karma, then there's a bad result. Any number of examples that you see. You don't need to depend or wait for the next life, if at all it exists. You will be getting in this life itself. Suppose somebody is not so punctual or sincere, you will find that that person is going to lose, going to miss the train and flight in many occasions. Somebody who doesn't believe that he or she should be there on the airport or station on time, he or she is going to miss the train and airport many occasions, not able to reach the destination on time and come back to the home and cry. Somebody who believes in the 11th hour I should study and I will be able to do well. And you see the consequence of it. So therefore they say those who believe in karma, they believe doing the karma in this life and getting the result in this life. So therefore, instead of depending on the God's wish and desires, we should believe in our karma. What it means? A person knows his or her abilities, capabilities, and capacities to do a particular work. If he or she doesn't know about it, it means something is seriously wrong in his or her understanding. And that is applicable to all the individuals, those are living across the globe, irrespective of the geographical boundary. So therefore, all of us, those are educated, we should believe in our karma. And that karma helps us to understand the complex nature of reality and what kind of karma would lead us to get the good result. So in that sense, I would say there are three types of karma. One is karma which is prescribed for all of us when we have four stages of life. All of you know that there are four stages of life.
Yeah.
What are the four stages of life?
Brahmacharya, Grihastha, and Banaprastha and Sannyas.
Good. So therefore, every individuals, whether gender X, gender Y, gender Z, and all these things, they will be going through these stages of life. So therefore, there's a prescribed duty for all of us in every stage, depending on our immunity, depending on our mental stamina, physical stamina, our food habit, and so on and so forth. If we do good karma, the result we will get in this life itself. And those who get this predicted result, they lead a happy life. For example, somebody is involved in Saturday, Sunday to clean the premises or to clean the room where he or she stay, and he or she would be able to realize what is called cleanliness and live with a very neat and clean environment. And this is how the faith in karma is explained in all the classical texts that you find in Indian philosophy. And even today, it has relevance for all of us. And this is how the faith of karma is explained. So let me.
Sir, is it found in the Vedas itself, or like from when this started to appear in Vedic literature, the reincarnation and karma theory?
It came in Yajurveda.
Yajurveda.
It is written in Yajurveda.
Okay.
So from Yajurveda, it is now retranslated in Upanishads. You will find in Chandogya, Taittiriya, Aitrega, Brihadaranyaka, then other Upanishads. Then after that, you will find in Bhagavad Gita. Then after that, you will find in Brahmana. Then after that, you will find in Aranyakanda, so on and so forth. It is a sequence. So in Upanishad, there is nothing new written. It is in a small versions they derive from Vedas. Like Vedas are very complicated. These are very long verses. They put it in a short and write in Upanishads. Therefore, you'll find Isa Upanishads, Kena, Katha, Taittiriya, Aitiriya, Brihadaranyaka, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, this is how it's about. So in Upanishads, you don't find anything new information. Rather, all the scattered informations are gathered in one place, and it was a particular Upanishads. Done. Ambrish and Snigdha. Is you know? So you are very lucky to have somebody who can explain all these things, right? Okay. Usually, I don't spend so much time on this, but I could not say no to our Santosh. So therefore, Santosh and me, we knew each other since long, because 2 hours means is a long hour. From I'm from IIT Madras, you know that, right? Huh? Okay, I would suggest one thing, rather as a request form. Since you are doing MA philosophy, you will be finding my books there, which I have contributed one blocks having so many units and so and so. Go to the YouTube and put my name. You will be able to see Indian philosophy lectures. All right. So that I have given in the NPTL. That's available in NPTL platform. In
I have it saved in my playlist.
Okay, good. So there you'll find all the talks, discussions about Indian philosophy. But some of the new examples that I'm giving here relating to your experience, which you may not forget immediately. That is the direct benefit you get it listening to me here. All right. And of course, I also get a pleasure to discuss with you, learn from you, heard what you think about it. That's also, both way there's a teaching line. Okay. Now, next one is called faith of rebirth. That's a question. How many of us we believe in rebirth? Some schools they propose that rebirth is there. If you do good karma, if you do not get result, that results are getting pending for the next life. You get good. Sometimes if you get married, they'll say seven birth you will be having the same husband and wife. And don't believe that, because there is no such proof or reference to that. That's just a merely how both can live with happy life, lead a conjugal life, something like that. But there is nothing like 7 times, 6 times, or 8 times. That's just a myth that helps the two individuals to live together, to search for happy life for each other. That's all. So therefore, some people they believe in rebirth. They say, look, our soul that is created by God, which we are not aware of when we born. When we share our death, we may not be able to experience what is called death. The body dies, that we put under fire. So therefore, the body will not be there. It just mixed with the five Mahabhutas. You guys know about five Mahabhutas, right? 5 Mohavatars. So when body dies, body is burnt or body is put under the soil. So therefore, it has natural reaction. It mixes with 5 Mohavatars. And the self, which is the repository of consciousness, because of that you are looking at me, I'm looking at you, you are listening to me, you are reacting to me, you are giving an example, I'm also elucidating something. All this possible because of consciousness, and that consciousness is a quality of the self. That self goes out from the body and goes back to the Brahman by carrying all the rewards or punishment that you're supposed to get in this life. So hence the Brahman decides in which body that self carrying all these rewards and punishment should enter, and then the next birth follows. That's how the explanation given. If you ask me, Professor, do you believe that? I say I'm just explaining their positions. I have no clue in which way the self goes out, in which way the self enters into a human body. All right. So therefore, they say those who get liberation means those who are doing certain action, but that doesn't lead for a consequence. Suppose while walking on the road, you are counting how many mangoes are there in a mango tree. So that action is neither good nor bad, unless someone has a purpose to pluck it or something else, right? So in that case, we would say, suppose you are walking down and you see that right side there are many deers or many say goats, few chickens. You have started counting, but you have not completed the counting. But it's okay. You left that place. So that action doesn't result anything good or bad. In that case, they say there are many individuals consciously they do certain action which is prescribed for them, and therefore these actions would not lead to either reward or punishment, and hence the self which we possess in this life gets liberated on this earth. So once it is liberated, since there is no reward and punishment is pending, and therefore the self is not carrying out when we die, there is no possibility that the Brahman will send the self or insert the self in the other body to get this reward and punishment. Is that clear to all of you? So therefore,
So the accumulation does not happen because I didn't understand that part.
accumulation doesn't happen because everyone does the prescribed duty, not
Okay,
beyond
okay,
that.
okay.
So henceforth there is no cravings for the reward, no desire for the punishment or anything. So in that sense, they say what exactly is called golden mean in the zero, neither too extreme positive nor too extreme negative. What is prescribed, we will do that. In ordinary language, I'll say morning you and me, we need to wake up. We should not depend on others. We'll try our best to carry out our own work. Otherwise, in village or town, we'll say, hey, can you give me the water? Hey, can you give me the towel? Hey, where is my brush? Hey, can you give my suitcase? Hey, where is my car key? Hey, where is that something else file? So depending on others means the action has a reward or punishment. But if we will be doing our own work on our own based on intelligence, capability, skills, then perhaps the liberation is inevitable. The self will not take some reward and punishment along with it when the body dies. That's what the explanation is about. But in contrast to this explanation, Charvaka believes, which is not perceivable, we should not believe in that. As I told you, perception includes all the sense organs, not just visual eye contact, isn't it? So Charvaka says that the hell, heaven, self, nothing exists. Once the body dies, everything dies. Once the body emerges, everything emerges. So those who believe in this logic, they are called accidentalism. Accidentalism means there is no reason for anything, just something happened. So if you are a Charvakian, you say sky is blue because accidentally sky is blue. Suppose you say why these two eyes are there and in between our nose, just accidental. Because eyes cannot be below my ear or something. Why the 2 ears were designed in this way? This is just accidental. That's Charvakians are called accidentalism. And many scientists they believe that free will exists in us, but we do not know where exactly it is located. So therefore they say it's an accident. If you ask a neuroscientist or ask a cognitive scientist or biologist or say any physicist or anyone for that matter, even computer scientist, you will say, do you believe in free will? That person next moment will say, look, this is a difficult question for me because I have to prove my stand. If you are a neurologist, you will say, no, I don't believe because there is no such thing in my cerebral system that tells me that this is how the source for the free will. But the cerebral system tells that this is how the sense organs connected to the brain process. Okay? But if you are a say a philosopher, a metaphysician, a social scientist, thinkers, then you are bound to say free will exists because you go to a restaurant, you order a food by considering by seeing all the menu items. Yes or no? You see how much money you have, you see how much time you have, you see what is the best food in that restaurant, so and so. If free will doesn't exist, that means anything is pre-decided. You could have eaten that one. If free will doesn't exist, you will not decide whether you want to study history, philosophy, geography, chemistry, mechanical engineering, or chemical engineering. Nothing. If everything is determined, what is the point of doing any effort? So therefore, necessarily, the free will exists. What it says that since we have a free will, we have an ability to do otherwise. We decide what to do, what not to do. Like sometimes you will feel, oh, it's raining, I should not go out because I'll get wet. Even though your brain tells you that, look, some vegetables you need to purchase, there is nothing. But you say, oh, wait, let this rain stops because I don't want to go. Even though your brain guides you, let's go outside, get vegetables because it's evening, otherwise you'll not get it. But still, you have a free will to decide. So in this way, many thinkers in those days, they were discussing and debating about so many important concepts that you might be finding relevant for the contemporary society. So with this, so I end my presentation from my side. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
So this topic of free will, can we say, would it be correct to say that, look, means I want to understand the Indian philosophical position on free will. Is it different or is it same? Because the karma theory is so predominant. Can we say that they all believe in free will or no?
Except two schools, rest of the schools they do not believe in free will, because those who believe in the God creation, God is the creator, God has created us. They would say we don't have free will. Everything is predetermined. Even though they'll go one step ahead to argue, saying that suppose I'm wearing today these t-shirts, even though it is my choice was pre-decided by the God. Even that extent they argue. But those who do not believe in the existence of God, to some extent they will believe that free will exists because we choose what action we should render and what action we should return.
So, like the Vedic tradition, they are deterministic.
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly deterministic. They,
Even though we have karma theory in that, still it is deterministic. And that is why they say that we can understand the unfolding of time, the kala.
no. Then they say that if you do bad karma, you'll go to Chandra Loka, and they explain what is Chandra Loka. That oil is be boiling, somebody will throw you there, etc., etc. Just make you afraid that don't do the bad action. Somebody is watching. Even though that is not there, but to make people afraid that if you do bad karma intentionally, somebody is going to punish you. But if you do the good karma, there is a good result. So they say that we do not have a will to use it, but therefore wrongly we should not do anything, or intentionally we should not do any bad action, because everything came to us as a good form. We should be able to implement only in good. That's what the Vedic tradition they say. Heaven and hell, the experience. They say after the death. Mostly in Quran they will say you'll go to Jannat something. You heard about it? Even in Bible, New Testament they says if you pray to the Lord Jesus or something like etc., blah blah, which I'm not telling you now. You go to Sunday church, blah blah blah, blah etc. Then after your death, your soul will be going to the heaven and so and so. Even in Hindu tradition also, we have there, right?
So it's little ambiguous. Like in some position, it is emphasized that you have your own karma, and in some, it is said that it's all determined.
Yes. So many researchers they are taking these kind of issues and working on that. to resolve that ambiguity. What are the consistency they maintained earlier? Because these are the research questions. When you see the contradictions between the two arguments, two ideas, two proposals, these are called research questions. Research questions are those questions are not resolved by now. So therefore, one perspective can be considered to look into it. These are called research questions. Correct? Okay, so with this, still we have few minutes time in our hand. If you have any other questions, you can ask me. I'll be happy to answer that. Otherwise, we will wind up. Uh, One thing, tomorrow will not meet. Tomorrow I have other engagement. That's it. We have postponed to Sunday around 11 o'clock. Is that okay to all of you? Sunday 11 to 1 something. Okay. Some immediate work came, so I could not able to avoid it. How about others? Why they are not participating? I could see four, five, six candidate only. Huh? Six candidate 2 hours class difficult for us. I thought of it should be 100 plus something. Anyway, so less students means more interaction. That is also benefiting. Huh? But you should take advantage of it. You should ask as many questions. You read the text, you learn it.
Yeah. So my thing is, can I ask about like how to enter into the academic sphere and that part, or should I stick only to the?
No, 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 you can ask me. Let me listen the questions first. I may not be able to answer it, but let me listen the questions. Yeah.
So basically, like now, since I'm doing this master's course, so the process is to clear the UGC net exam, and how do I go for a PhD, and how like what are the things that I should plan to find a good PhD course, and think
See, in Odisha, almost every university we offer philosophy
Mhm.
PhD program. That's what I
Right.
believe so.
Mhm.
So, what is the minimum requirement is that MA or PG in philosophy, and we need UGC net.
Mhm.
And why UGC net? Because that would help you to get a job in future. So those who clear UGC net, it is understood that he or she must be having a basic understanding about philosophy subjects, and therefore he or she is worthy to do the PhD in an university system.
Okay.
So therefore, taking admission in a PhD program would not be difficult. And those who get UGC GRF, again they create an impression that they know many things or many concepts and ideas that are there in philosophy subject. Because getting GRF means it's little more in-depth study one has to do that, or to get more score, right? To get more score means one has to write the correct answer, so on and so forth. So therefore, doing PhD is easy, not a problem.
And for philosophy of mind, if I have to enter in that area, is which universities should I target?
We have few faculty members in India, those who
Mm,
work on philosophy of mind. You have people in IIT Bombay, people in IIT Madras, then some universities like University of Hyderabad, something in JNU,
mm,
then few other universities. So they will guide you. Absolutely not a problem. If you get a chance in IIT, you get a fellowship. If you work in a university, some university they give you some kind of money like monthly as a fellowship. Some universities they do not give, but it depends on where you apply, where you got it, and all matters.
and for improving academic writing skills, any advice you would?
That requires consistent and persistent effort, and your supervisor should be with you to tell you what you are writing, why you are writing, what went wrong, how you could improve. So that is not like immediate improvement. That would happen a long run, consistent and persistent effort one is to put in. Writing is something, it's a skill one is to learn it. There is no such like reading a book and writing, that would not work, because so many things one has to take into consideration while developing an idea and putting it in the writing form. All right, Ambrish, so we'll wind up now. I hope that some of the learning took place from your end as well as others, those who have attended today's class, isn't it? So
Yes.
with this, I'm signing out from my end and wish you the good day for the remaining time and see you on what is that today is Tuesday. See you on Wednesday. So Tuesday will the class we have postponed to Sunday, 11 o'clock. I think you all of you might have got email. I believe so. Uh, Professor Santosh sent an email to all of you. So tomorrow we'll not have a class, but the day after we'll continue the class until we finish the 8 classes. Done. All right. Take care. Bye bye. I'm signing out from my end. Bye.
Thank you, sir.